Hello Eurovision friends, thank you so much for coming to my channel Eurovision Histories. We are now only 6 days away from the Grand Final of Eurovision 2025. I am so excited and the excitement keeps growing every single day. And I thought this is a good time to update my winners prediction. The turquoise carpet is today, so Eurovision week will officially kick off. And we've seen a week of rehearsals. We now have short clips of each of the rehearsals, so we can include that in the prediction as well. But I'll also look at odds, charts at the moment, the Eurovision scoreboard, and whether there's media attention about an entry, and try to predict who the winner of Eurovision will be. Before I start, just so we're on the same page, I wanted to show you the last 5 winners of Eurovision because each of them shows a pathway to victory that our contestants this year might take. You have the Netherlands, who won as a compromise winner between jury and televote, because obviously in Eurovision you have 2 different votes you have to convince. You have Italy and Ukraine, who won the televote at such a commanding margin that not winning the jury was not as important. And then you had Sweden and Switzerland, Loreen and Nemo, winning the jury so convincingly that the televote wasn't that important anymore, even though they did quite well in the televote as well. So 3 pathways: either you're a compromise between the 2, or you blow out in one of them and just get enough votes in the televote or the jury vote to beat out the favorite in the other vote as well. Now, I have 3 categories. First of all, I have the no longer in contention, and I'm basing this on my last prediction video. I had Czechia as part of the possible winners. I don't see that anymore, and here I will explain to you the many smileys you see there. Unfortunately, a lot of red for Czechia there. For the odds, it's a thumbs up if you're in the top 5 at the moment, a thumbs down if you're below the top 10, and this neutral smiley if you're in the lower top 10, so 5th to 10th position. For the fans, I looked at Eurovision scoreboard. If you're top 5 there, again, thumbs up. If you are below the top 10, thumbs down. And if you are exactly in the lower top 10, it's the neutral smiley. Charts, self-explanatory. If you chart in a few countries, you get a thumbs up. Rehearsals, this is more my opinion about the rehearsal. So there it's a bit subjective, actually. Then competition, how many similar songs are there that sound a bit like you and that could take votes away from you? And then also media attention, especially during Eurovision week. And I added this to update on Saturday of the Grand Final. I'm going to do another update of this winner's prediction. And if I see that there's lots of media attention around one entry and nothing about the others, then that will be a thumbs up as well. So for Czechia, in the odds, Czechia is still in 8th position, which is okay, but it has been going down. The fans have this 15th in Eurovision scoreboard. For the charts, I haven't found this anywhere on any chart. I'm looking at Apple, Spotify, or iTunes. And then for the rehearsal, I don't think the rehearsal really works all that well. And that's one of the main reasons why it's not in my long shot and dark horse category anymore, because I just think this glam rock staging for a bit of a ballad, and especially the part of the clip that we saw was the more ballady part, and it looks like the performance and the outfit for a glam rock entry. I think this will not really work in the televote. He might still do really well in the juries, though, because of his great vocal performance. For competition, I left it in neutral because there are a lot of pop songs, obviously, that could take votes away from this, but I still think it stands out in a way, the way the entry is and the song is. And then media attention, I haven't really seen this get mentioned anywhere in the media. So I think the pathway is just not there anymore. This could do well in the juries, even the top 10, but in the televote, I don't see this do better than 20th, actually. Then I have Mirjana Content serving for Malta, also not in contention anymore, I think. And I'll tell you why in a second. In the odds, Malta is currently in 10th position, switching places with Switzerland these last couple of hours. In the Eurovision scoreboard app, the fans love this. It's in 5th position. It isn't really charting anywhere. And the rehearsal, I thought, was good, and I said as much. I think she sings this well. I just feel like the staging is sort of toned down for this kind of performance. Maybe it's only the clip that we saw, but I thought they would go all out and try to win the televote. And it feels more like a standard pop performance and not as outrageous and crazy as in the Maltese national final, which could be good for juries. Maybe more juries will go for it, but I think she might lose out in the televote. And that's why I put the thumb down in competition, because I think Erika from Finland does what Malta is trying to do, just that little bit better. And the song is also a little bit better, I think. And so in the end, I think that that might hurt Malta's chances, and so I don't really see it winning anymore. For media attention, I gave it a thumbs up because it obviously went viral, and I think a lot of media outlets will talk about the controversy about the title, so that might be a plus. Then I have Red Sebastian, Strobe Lights for Belgium. This wasn't in my prediction last time. So he really convinced me with his rehearsal. Lots of great camera shots, great visuals as well. So well done, Belgium, on that. And I think the performance can help this do rather well with the televote. The juries might be a bit of a problem because of his vocals that sounded a teeny tiny bit shaky in that 30-second rehearsal clip. At least in the odds, it's currently in 6th position, going up. So more people share this enthusiasm about Belgium possibly doing well, that I do as well. Then the fans have him 21st in Eurovision scoreboard, a bit surprised about that. And then for the charts, I didn't see this chart anywhere really. Obviously, this category is not as important right now. It will be more important once we get to the part of Eurovision week where the semifinals have already happened and people know the songs and start listening to the songs. Then the charts are sometimes a pretty good indicator what does well. Then the rehearsal, I already said I really liked, so that's the big plus and why Belgium is in here. Competition-wise, there is Cyprus with a relatively similar song. There are higher vocals by several male vocalists this year, so that might hurt it a little bit. And there are other very high-intensity pop songs as well. Obviously, I would even include Finland and Malta as competition for this. And so yeah, bit of a neutral smiley there. And for media attention, I haven't really seen anyone talk about this up until now. And for the pathway, if this actually does it, I think it would be a compromise winner where this gets high jury votes because of his good voice, if he gets the vocal performance right, and then also gets a pretty high televote because of the good staging and performance, and the song is also catchy, so that might be Belgium's pathway. Then I have Claude and C'est la vie for the Netherlands. This was a contender last time. Now it's down to a long shot or a dark horse, mainly because of the reaction to the rehearsal. I personally think the rehearsal looks quite expensive and quite good, and I think the whole staging concept might convince a few more jury voters to give this points. But I can also see that the televoters might not go for a song that has a bit of a ballad staging when it is a more summery song. I understand that problem that a lot of people have. I think way too many people have been way too harsh with this, and especially to him. They don't remember that he's a human being. I don't know why people have to be like that. The vocals weren't all that good, but there's still time to improve it, and that's what rehearsals are for as well. Let's look at the other stats. The odds, the Netherlands are still in 5th position, but have gone down a little bit. The fans don't really love this. Where is it? 11th position. They kind of like it, but it's not in the top 10. For the charts, I haven't really seen this chart anywhere except the Netherlands, and I don't really count their own country because the Netherlands cannot vote for the Netherlands. The rehearsal I already talked about. I gave it a thumbs up, but I think most people would give it a thumbs down. And then for competition, I put a neutral smiley because, again, we have a lot of these radio-friendly pop songs. This is also in direct competition, I think, with Adonis, maybe also with Cyprus and other of these pop songs that the same kind of people might like. And so they might not vote for the Netherlands if they find a song that they like more. Media attention, I gave it a neutral smiley. I saw one short news clip where they talked about his family history and how he emigrated to the Netherlands. That might happen a bit more once Eurovision week starts, but it's also not something I've seen around a lot. And the pathway for the Netherlands, I still believe, is the compromise winner Duncan Lawrence pathway. So the Netherlands are used to winning that way already, convincing juries, maybe getting 250 points or something with the juries, and then also kind of 250 with the televote. But there's a bit of a question mark about that now because of the staging. That's why it's only in a long shot. Then I have Germ, Škoda Elektronike for Albania. In the odds, this is currently in 12th position. It was in the top 10 and has gone down. I don't really know why. I think mostly because other countries have gone up a bit. The fans love this. It is 4th in Eurovision scoreboard, and you know that I love this song as well. This isn't charting anywhere, but first of all, we're before the semifinals, so not that important. And also, this is the kind of song that doesn't really chart and still does well in the televote because it is a song with traditional elements. For the rehearsal, I think this was done incredibly well. The color schemes that represent her and him, she performed this incredibly well. The vocals were good. If the juries are a bit more open-minded than they were in the past, this should get a big jury score. However, and that's why I have it in the long shots only, the juries have not really been going for songs with traditional elements, and I think that might happen here too. Competition, I gave it a thumbs up because I don't really see any songs that are very similar to this. Maybe Greece in the vibe, the traditional elements, but otherwise this is really the only one. And if you like this sort of thing, you're going to go for Albania, I think, and that's a big plus for them. So I could see something like a Schum televote, who got, I think, were second in the televote in 2021, and then unfortunately didn't do as well. They came 5th, I think, because the juries destroyed their chances, because I think it was a song with traditional elements and also electronic elements. So the comparison is quite good here. Media attention, I haven't really seen anyone in the media talk about this all that much. Then I have Tommy Cash, Estonia, Espresso Macchiato. When I saw the rehearsal and especially heard the rehearsal, I thought, okay, that's it. He isn't going to get a lot of jury points because the vocals were the worst, I think, of all the rehearsals, kind of. You could say that this kind of song is a televote-friendly song. The vocals aren't as important. The thing is, you also need a few jury points to prop you up. Even if he wins the televote by 400 points, he still would need about 100 points from the juries. I don't quite see that at the moment. I still have it in the long shots because I think he could get an even higher televote, and I'll tell you why in a second. In the odds, this is in the lower top 10. I'll tell you the position in 9th place has been going down a little bit. The fans don't really like that. It's an 18th position only. However, this is doing quite well on the charts. It's the second most successful entry this year on the charts at the moment in different countries, not just Estonia. So it's charting in the Nordics and the Baltics, a bit also in Italy, which is interesting. So you might get a few points from there. The rehearsal, as I said, didn't really work all that well, but the staging as such is quite televote friendly with the security guards. I think a lot of people will find that quite amusing. For the competition, I put a thumbs down because Kai is the fun act that just does it better, in my opinion, and I think will take a lot of points away from Tommy Cash. And for the televote-friendly songs, there are a lot of televote-friendly songs or televote magnets. There's Ukraine and Israel, there is Finland, there is Sweden, there is Estonia, there is Malta. So that might divide things up a bit because I think they all will make it through the semifinals as well. And the others that are ballads might not make it through the semifinals. And so the ballads in the final will stand out a bit more. So that's why it's a thumbs down for competition. And media attention, I mean, I had a friend from the US ask me about this song because he had read an article about it. I think the media attention for this is quite high because of the controversy in Italy, also because of some of the imagery which might relate to certain politicians. And so I think this will be talked about a lot, and that might help it. So I can see this get a huge televote, even enough to outdo the juries that will vote this down, but it won't be enough, I think, to win in the end. Then I have Yuval Raphael for Israel, New Day Will Rise. In the odds, this is currently in 4th position, so holding quite steady there. With the fans, it's not as popular, 22nd in the Eurovision scoreboard. For the charts, this was a bit surprising to me because ballads don't do that well before the competition, but this is charting in a few countries, especially on iTunes, so that's why the thumb goes up. For the rehearsal, I think it was good and competent. Her vocals were very good, obviously, but it didn't do much better than I expected it to be, or it wasn't also worse than I expected it to be. It was as expected, sort of. For the competition, I therefore put a neutral phase as well, because I think this is in direct competition with France and Switzerland for being a ballad by a female. And I think Switzerland with the stripped down staging, and also France with this very impressive sand staging, might outshine it a little bit, I think. Depends also where these songs are in the running order. That will be very important. And then media attention, I've seen a few articles already about this, mainly because of her backstory. The main reason why I don't have this as a contender, you might say it's charting, it's doing well in the odds, but Hurricane last year got 50 points from the juries. This is a relatively similar song. I even think, well, I think the vocals are better than Hurricane, but the song itself is less jury-friendly because it has different languages. The structure is not a pop structure. Hurricane was a pop ballad, really. And so I think this will probably get a similar jury score, also for the outside factors, obviously. And then we'll get a big televote score. But even if this gets, let's say, 400 televote points, that would mean she needs double the jury points Hurricane had. And I just don't see that happening at the moment, but still a possibility. So let's go to the contenders. So the countries I think might actually do it. Zoe May Voyage for Switzerland. Hear me out on this. I already hear you writing comments, because you see, she's 11th in the odds only, but she has been going up like a rocket since the rehearsal clip was released. The fans didn't love this as much as other entries. 12th in Eurovision scoreboard. It isn't charting anywhere, not even in Switzerland, but this isn't really the kind of song that charts. Rehearsal and competition are the two things that are really important here and outdo everything else, in my opinion. The rehearsal was just so great, so intimate, authentic, real, simple, but also incredibly well done and professional, that made me think this could be the jury winner, and not even with a small margin. There is that pathway. I can see that happen. A Salvador Sobral kind of moment as well. And then competition, I gave this a thumbs up as well. You might say this is in competition with France and the other French entries and the other ballads. But there is no entry like it this year that is staged so stripped down, so unplugged, and the kind of people that like that are jury members, and I think also a lot of televoters that will just be exhausted by the huge bombastic stagings that everyone has. Even France's staging is quite bombastic when it comes to the visuals. So I don't really see the competition between Switzerland and France as much anymore, and I think this will stand out incredibly on the night. Media attention, not as much. In Switzerland, yes, but otherwise I haven't really seen anything. By the way, if for media attention you have information that I don't see, because this is quite anecdotal, obviously, do let me know in the comments. Next. And by the way, I ordered these in increasing likelihood of victory. I have Erika Wigmann and ich komme for Finland in the odds. She's currently in 7th position. The fans, however, love this. She's in 3rd position. And the fans are a big part of the people that vote on the night, I think. So that should help. On the charts, it's charting a bit in Finland and I think Estonia, but not that much outside of that yet. The rehearsal, I gave a thumbs up because I think this is better than in the national final, a bit classier. She has the gloves and the outfit is a bit less shiny, which I think will help with the juries, actually. and I'll talk about the path in a minute. Competition, I gave a neutral smiley because I think she's in competition with Malta, though I think she is doing it better than Malta. But she's also in competition with Australia, Sweden, Estonia, and the other pop songs. So there's lots of competition actually for Erika, which might be a problem, but maybe she convinces everyone and it isn't that big a problem. Media attention, there is a bit. I'm waiting to see whether in Germany and German-speaking countries there's going to be reports about this. But in a few of the national finals or review shows, she has been mentioned quite a bit, I do think, because of the nature of the song. The pathway for Erika, I think, is the carrier pathway, more or less. Get a huge televote, maybe 370 or something like that. And then you only need 130, 150 jury points. And I think she sings this better than carrier did. And also the song, in the way it's composed and produced, is high quality, actually. And I think the juries might actually go for this. So I see a pathway for Erika, definitely. Next, I have JJ Wasted Love for Austria. This is obviously doing well in the odds. It's currently at let me check, 23% winning chance and second in the odds. It won a Eurovision scoreboard, so to speak. I think it's still changing, but at the moment it's number one. So I gave 2 thumbs up for that. That might indicate a good televote for Austria, which is the big question mark, I guess. Charts. This was surprising to me. This is charting in a few countries, actually, and this is not the kind of song I expected to chart. I personally don't really listen to it because the vocals are quite high-pitched for me, but a lot of people seem to like it and are streaming it or downloading it. The rehearsal, I think, is a huge risk, but this will stand out so much. It's in black and white, and actually, let me do this. It's in black and white, and I think that will help it stand out in the lineup, and it feels like it will be very, very dramatic as a staging, as a performance, and just the kind of thing you don't really forget. Even if it's early on in the running order, you will not forget this performance, I think, and that should help it get a few televotes. And for the juries, especially also his vocals, this very art house vibe that you have in the staging with the black and white and everything going on, I think should convince a lot of juries, and I think this is the favorite to win the jury vote. Indeed, for competition, I gave this a neutral smiley because I think that these high-pitched vocals, the opera style, and then the EDM style, and the black and white might also turn a few people off. And if they like ballads or very high male vocals, they have other songs to go to. That's also the main reason why I have Austria a bit lower than the other two that are coming up in a second, even though the data shows actually that they should be second favorite. I think the staging, actually, that I wanted to say, that also works rather well, because I feel like JJ is a stage performer, not as much a television performer. Some of the live performances on Austrian TV, for example, we've seen there was a bit of a lack of connection with the camera. So I think this staging helps him be as present as he can be on that stage, because it feels a bit like an opera staging for an opera song as well. Media attention, neutral. I think this will get attention because it's second in the odds and it's quite an out there staging, but he doesn't really have a backstory or anything like that could, or a controversy surrounding the song that helps it gain attention. And another thing, JJ is in the second semifinal, same as Erika. I think that's a bit of a disadvantage because the others have 2 more days to become viral and to become the talk of town, whereas these are only seen by a wider audience on Thursday night, and then till Saturday night they only have 2 days to chart to become viral. It's not a big disadvantage, but it's a small disadvantage. Then as second most likely to win, I still have Luan with Maman in the odds. She is currently in 3rd position. The fans don't love it as much as I do. 8th position, so quite a good position. On the charts, I haven't seen this at all. It hasn't really charted in France that much either. I'm talking about streaming at the moment. The rehearsal, I put a neutral smiley because I personally think that the vocals weren't 100% perfect, and I also think that the staging is not the best staging for this song, but the reactions have been overwhelmingly positive, and it does look very impressive with the sand rotating around her. I do think that this has a bit of a potential to have a few hiccups during the live performance, Austria too, in a way, because so much is happening. And here for Austria, and here I'm a bit scared that something with the sand might happen and she gets something in her eye or something like that, like a Luisa Bailesh moment with the hair. If you know that reference, you are a real Eurovision fan. By the way, for the competition, I gave this a thumbs up because from the ballads we have, and there aren't that many ballads, I think this is the one that is staged best for a televoting audience, and it is still staged in a way that the jury members also like it. Switzerland might not convince enough televoters because it's so stripped back, but France kind of found a balance between the two things. Media attention, not as much. A few articles I've seen that Luan is very known in France and representing France is a big deal. Her representing France is a big deal. The pathway for France, and that's why it's my second place, is winning the jury vote, which I think is perfectly possible because her vocals will probably be much better than in the rehearsal. And the song is a ballad, is a good ballad, and we don't have as many because the ballads will probably stay in the semifinals with the televote only semifinals, and that should help France. And the other thing is, I think this could also do rather well with the televote because of the very beautiful staging. Running order will be quite important here because Switzerland will be 19th, which is quite late. The staging are very different, as I've said, but still, if France is 5th or 7th and Switzerland is 19th, that could still hurt France and maybe take the win away from it. So maybe get 350 jury votes and then 200 televotes, and then France is the winner of Eurovision 2025. Now, my first place, still my first place, is Kai with Bada Bada Basu. You see a lot of green there. They're still leading in the odds, and so I gave 2 thumbs up there with a 35% winning chance. I just checked again. Second in the Eurovision scoreboard, so the fans also support this and will vote for it in the final. On the charts, it's doing better than any other entry in a lot of countries, especially the Nordics, the Baltics, but also beyond that already. The rehearsal, I gave a thumbs up because this was as good as expected, but even a bit better than in Melodifestivalen, and I think because the graphics in the background just add a bit more depth to the whole thing. Competition is the only one I see a bit problematic because, again, we have so many televote-friendly songs, and they might take the very important televote points away from Sweden if they don't get a huge jury vote, which at the moment seems likely. And then for media attention, I gave this a thumbs up. I have seen so many news reports that were on British TV. I've seen French news clips as well. I think this is the talk of town because of the sauna theme and their backstory and everything. So that will help. Definitely also being first in the odds and being the favorite will help a lot as well. The pathway I see for this is get a huge televote. I think this could get a Kedia-style televote and have around 370, 380 televotes, and then you only need 120 jury points. And I think they have good vocals that work well, the harmonies work well, they have a good slick staging. They are fun, but not cringe or too much. So that won't turn the juries off too much. And they're also first in the odds. And if I'm a jury member, I might not want to give the favorite no points at all and then be criticized after that. So I can see this get maybe even 200 jury points. And for the juries, I also thought Finland, the Finnish jury will give this 12 points. Norway, Denmark, Iceland, probably 8 or 10 points, or maybe even 12. Estonia will give this high points, not the televote only, also the jury. And there, just these countries, you already have around 60, 70 jury points. And that combined with the huge televote I'm expecting. And so then there's no way really for another song to beat this. And so that's why it's still my number 1 prediction for the win of Eurovision 2025. 5. I almost forget which year we are in. Thank you so much for watching. This was a long video, but I hope you liked the data-driven analysis with my few subjective points as well. Do let me know in the comments who you think will win Eurovision, and then we can discuss it. And I'll see you for my next video. If you subscribe, I will do an update of this prediction on the day of the grand final, so you don't want to miss that. And so you want to subscribe, and then I will see you in my next video. See you then, and bye-bye.